Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Minions of the Zoo, Night Show 1799. Give or take a
Roughly.
few.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't know which one it is anymore, but soon enough we'll find out.
At some point, we switched to the Julian calendar, or the Gregorian calendar,
Yeah.
or the Mayan calendar. I don't know. Oh,
And I do like Adam's new look in the on the stream.
Yeah, even your leg looks your foot looks a little different too.
Mine is nearly outlined. That's just
Yeah.
calling more attention to the foot.
wait, what do you mean it looks different?
If you look on the stream on the actual YouTube, uh, his OBS has you fading into the smoke because of the colors.
Oh, hey, nice.
And I had it earlier. Hey, Travis. I had it earlier because, like, when we'd have Travis on the stream, I had it to where it was kind of like the way Hammer had it, to where you could still see the logo, but it wasn't, blocked off. But
Right.
I don't know how I did that.
Fair enough.
And in trying to set up this stream,
Yes,
I
dude, I
I
approve.
shuffled things around a bit, and this is what we got.
Fair
It
enough.
looks like I'm a general from 1776
It
or
does
some
a bit.
shit.
Dearest
Hi.
Masha,
We had held the line at Battle Forge. Oh shit. Yeah, no, I'm down with it. Or actually, now that I look at it, the way it's curled down, it looks like a Babylonian thing. So
Hmm.
if I can pull off a Gilgamesh,
Sargon of Clan Veggie the First.
I know. Well, yeah, yes, that is exactly yes. we have an actual picture of Adam of Clan Veggie the First with his rows of maize and weird balding hair. Awesome. Shit. How do I screenshot this? Okay. Yeah. Go ahead. So how are you?
Oh, not too bad. How you doing?
Well, it's Thursday. It's Thursday. Oh shit.
Hello, coaches. Get on my level. It's Friday.
Oh, fucking. Well, I forgot you're a time traveler, sir.
Yeah. I'm a bit disappointed because I thought I could get away with using my old laptop as a DVD player, but I went to watch something and it did not turn on at all. So it's like, well, looks like I'm buying a DVD player after all.
Okay, hold on. You're using a laptop as a DVD player, and what DVD are you looking to play?
Well, a whole bunch of my dad's old movies.
Oh shit! Damn, I didn't think I was gonna hit into a. I thought it was gonna be like Shrek.
No, he did not watch Shrek, but no, he's got a bunch of like really old John Wayne movies. He's got like Goodfellas. He's got Inception is one of them. Stuff like that. He's also got those like I think they're HBO shows where there was like the Borgias and the Tudors and like the historical sort of dramas.
Like Boardwalk Empire.
I think he might have that one. I don't know. I have to have another look. I think he's got Band of Brothers as well. He's got a whole bunch of like that sort of stuff and some movies and
Well,
Well,
honestly, now that I think about it, it's not. It's not all that bad because they're changing a lot of stuff and limiting the access to what you can see. So,
hmm.
yeah, no, yeah. Having
No,
some.
I'll buy it. Like I saw DVD players on sale for like $30. So like it's not expensive. It's just an inconvenience to either order it online and wait for it to get delivered, or head out to the shop and buy it in person.
I thought that my computer, my desktop had a Blu-ray player attached to it, but apparently it doesn't.
No,
Blu-ray.
neither of my two current computers have DVD or Blu-ray drives. There's nothing.
I would say, because we were actually talking about this at work the other day. Seeing laptops with Blu-ray players was rare because it was a small gap between when Blu-ray was a thing and they were shrinking laptops smaller to be more, it's solid state. It's everything's digital on
Yeah,
it.
the there's only two Blu-rays in the entire collection, which is Inception and The Deer Hunter are the two Blu-rays. Everything else is DVD.
Yeah, really?
So I'm fine with a DVD player. That's just two movies out of the massive pile that I won't watch. It's really not a problem.
I found that the PS3 emulator that I have, it can work with a external Blu-ray player,
Cool.
but it's got to be a specific model.
I would assume so. Yeah.
Wait, what kind of what PS3 do you have? Do you have the chunky
No, he's got an
chunky
emulator.
boy?
the emulator.
Oh well, I mean, oh, never mind. I'm sorry.
But I have the one with the sliding top.
The sliding top.
Yeah.
The last PlayStation I owned was a PS2, so I have not been in the PlayStation game for a while.
Yeah, I don't know. I just all I know with the PlayStation 3 is I picked up the one where it had the backwards capability.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I'm not really.
The first.
I'm not a PlayStation person, so.
See, the thing with me is from the PS3 onwards, there's not a lot of value in owning the console because pretty much everything is also released on PC. There's very few games that are exclusive to the PlayStation.
Oh, hey. Well, that's crazy that you said that because I was hearing that from some coworkers that just recently picked up a PlayStation 5.
Okay.
It was like there's nothing on there that would warrant the system.
Every single thing I've seen that is PS5 also works on a PS4. They're still doing the double releases.
Well, that's funny
Yeah.
because when I first bought the PS4, the first 3 games that I got for it, 2 of the 3 of them were from the PS3.
Right.
And I'm like, this is sad.
Yeah.
Well, now there's even we're turning to remakes. So.
Oh yeah. It's even worse.
Or awesome. I mean, Hey.
No. It's bad.
Okay, yeah, no, it's
The only one I'll cut some mild slack is the Final Fantasy VII remake, and that's because at least they did something completely different. Like, I don't like the direction they went with it, but you can't accuse them of being like lazy cash-ins. They put a lot of work into that game. And
damn.
Hold
on.
It's nostalgia bait with keeping something new.
Yeah, that's kind of that weirdo, like Barb, like, haha, it's what you wanted, but then is it what you really wanted? Bye-bye. Time goes.
Like if they'd done what everyone thought they were going to do and just release Final Fantasy VII as it was on the PlayStation, just with pretty graphics and better sound, I would have loved it.
No,
But-
not
absolutely.
even. It was better battle system, better pacing of story, and like they could have done everything aside from, oh hey, here's some random mimics
No,
in
see,
time frame and
I don't like that they changed the battle system. To me, in my head, Final Fantasy
is
should
timed.
should be turn based or
Oh,
active
the
time
turn based,
battle.
yeah, I like it.
It should
Okay,
not be an action RPG like the remake is.
Yep.
okay, I would say that is a very valid stance. Only because, yes, the first Final Fantasy started at that, and even fucking Dragon Quest to some degree holds firm with the time battle. Don't I believe there's one of the recent games where they had you can play with old school time battle.
Hmm.
So if they're doing that, obviously, Final Fantasy can do that.
And
But-
did you know that they made a prequel to the first Final Fantasy?
Wait,
Did they?
what?
Why?
Yeah,
That's pretty stupid.
it was
How's
hot
there a prequel to
garbage.
How bad it was. The,
What was it on?
the best Final Fantasy
PlayStation 4
combat
is all I've seen it on so far.
What's that, sir?
I think it was PlayStation 4 is what I've seen it on.
Okay.
I think it
No,
might be.
the best Final Fantasy combat system is 10. 10 has never been surpassed in terms of Final Fantasy combat systems. It's proper turn-based.
I
but
should
you've
really
got-
play that.
It's a great game. I mean, okay, walk that back. The combat system is great. The gameplay is horribly linear.
Was 11 the one where they went into the
11 was the first
internet
MMO.
stuff?
11
And then
was the first
12
MMO.
went into dynamic.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay. I'm just
but have you played 13, Johnny?
Yes.
So it's about as linear as 13, but it's much better disguised. It doesn't feel quite as bad, but you are still very much walking in a straight line from point A to point B to point C.
Yeah.
But the story is engaging, and I like the characters, and combat system is amazing. It's the only one where I've actually taken down the secret bosses. Like I went through the Colosseum and took down all the secret bosses in Final Fantasy X because I like the combat system.
So
Last
what
good
do you
Final
think
Fantasy
about
was 9.
well which one was 9? Oh, that was the one where with Vivi, right?
Yeah.
Yep, that's the one.
Okay.
That was them
hey,
going
hey,
back to basics.
But that
That,
was
that was them saying we want to
dynamic.
return
That's
to-
more. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
No, 9 was them saying they wanted to return to like series fundamentals and like bring back the old school feel of Final Fantasy.
Which they should have stuck with.
The art style. But if we're talking battle, what I'm seeing in terms of the difference between, say, Final Fantasy 12 and Final Fantasy 10 is that it's gearing more towards the time based, but it's lined like Final Fantasy 1. But there's a dynamic camera that's
12 I hated. I
giving you the
absolutely could
video.
not stand Final Fantasy 12.
Yeah, but 12 is that gearing more towards that online MMO type
Final
gameplay.
Fantasy 12 felt like an MMO where you were the only player playing it.
And it's so weird. Why would you? But how is that? Okay, here's an oddball. I'm gonna toss this out. How is that compared to Kingdom Hearts?
I didn't play Kingdom. I played the first Kingdom Hearts, but I didn't really like it, so I never played any of the others.
Same.
I don't know why I didn't like it. It just never clicked with me.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know if it's just because of the.
Dot Hack came out at around the same time, and I liked that better than I did the other.
Mm-hmm.
Dot Hack. I don't think I've ever played that.
I haven't played Dot Hack. I'm pretty sure I own it.
Which is funny because it's you playing a game as someone playing a game.
And Tier in chat says that 15 was shite but had good parts. You know what my favorite part of 15 was? Get the other guy to drive the car. Just pick some destination on the opposite side of the map and listen to the music. That was the only way I ever enjoyed 15.
I kind of want to try it just because of the car aspect.
Yeah, no, get Ignis to drive, so you don't have to pay attention to anything. Just pick some spot on the opposite side of the map. Ignis, take me there, and then just find all the good Final Fantasy soundtracks and listen to them while he's driving. That's how you enjoy that game.
I mean, that doesn't sound like a.
Well,
I mean, it doesn't sound like Final Fantasy, but
you
Final Fantasy Mystic Quest sounds more like a Final Fantasy than that.
Well, and you could alternatively just go on YouTube and listen to the various Final Fantasy soundtracks. But if you've already bought 15 and you're determined to get some fun out of it, that's the best you're going to get. Because that was another one I did not like, apart from the driving. Getting used to driving around.
I think your background fire, Sir Hellcat, is appropriate for the current topic.
Yeah. So yeah, the remake, no, not remake, the prequel to Final Fantasy 1. It's called Stranger of Paradise.
Okay.
And I watched the trailer and I'm like, okay, some of this looks kind of janky, but it's kind of something that I've kind of wanted. Like, I've always thought that if they were going to make a 3D remake of any game, it should be the first one.
Right.
Like, even if it's just something that, like, you know, you have, even if they treated it like kind of like oh shit, what was that game? The one where you play like the 13 characters like at the beginning.
I don't know.
Is it 13 or is it like 15? I'm not sure. But I was thinking, yeah, you can make your 4 characters. You can switch between the 4. You know, if you wanted to keep the action RPG aspect, or if they were going to do that turn-based, they can make it kind of like Wild Arms.
Oh yeah, I did play that.
I think that would have been better than, you know, action RPG style.
You know what game had a good cross between turn-based and action RPG? Shadow Hearts, where you actually like you picked your attack from a menu, but then you had like a quick time event to determine how well you performed that action. So if you like cast Fireball, and then there'll be a disc, and there'll be like certain sections on the disc, and the needle will spin, and you've got to hit the button inside each of the segments. The more you get correct, the stronger the spell is. So that way, if you don't want to just be like, I click this button, thing happens. If you want to actually be involved in the fight, that's a good balance for me. I think I did like that one.
Oh,
Yeah.
what was the game called?
What's that?
What was the game called?
Shadow Hearts.
And what was it on? What system?
PS2.
Have to look it up.
Yeah.
Sounds nice.
I liked the second one more than the first. So Shadow Hearts Covenant is the best in my opinion.
No, I never played that one.
Definitely worth checking out. It's also got a bit of a sense of humor, which I always appreciate. Like not so much that it detracts from the story, but it just a bit of lightheartedness here and there. It's just to sort of stop things from getting too heavy.
Well, it sounds kind of like a friend of mine convinced me to get Fairy Fencer F.
I think I either own that or wishlisted it.
I got it because I found it on sale for like $2.99.
Fair enough.
And like the story in itself is actually pretty funny. Like your character's kind of self-aware that he is he knows he's the hero of the story.
Okay.
And it's just they're like, "Oh, you've unlocked me as a fairy weapon." He's like, "Yeah, I don't want to." Like he's so reluctant because he just wants to like sit because he got sent to jail for trying to steal a loaf of bread, and he's like, "No, I'm good here. I don't feel like really doing anything." And she's like, "Oh, and now I have this special ability." He's like, "Of course you do." Like,
there was a game, I can't remember the name of it, but it was kind of weird because it evolved. So like you started off as like an NES game, but then you got some item or some power up or something, and it turned into a Super Nintendo game. And then you play a bit as a Super Nintendo game, and then it upgrades into PlayStation quality game.
I
And like
actually
it becomes
that.
3D.
I just got that off of Epic Evoland.
That's it, Evoland.
Evoland.
And it just keeps getting like more and more like high quality as you progress. And yeah, T said the same thing, Evoland.
Yeah, I literally just downloaded it because it was for free on Epic, so I was like, I'll take it.
Oh yeah, I keep forgetting to check Epic for free games.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with free games.
There is not. I like free. Free is a good price.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if the game turns out to be shit.
Well, either way. I mean, an awesome game for free is also pretty good.
Yeah, that's true.
I think the only games I've actually played on Epic are the FF7 Remake and Hitman 3. That's it. The only two games I've used it for.
Oh, I completely forgot to carry on. But for the Shadow of Paradise, or Stranger of Paradise,
yeah,
it is quite possibly the most ham-fisted story.
Nice.
With Final Fantasy XI MMO feel to it. Like,
I never played either of the Final Fantasy MMOs. I had zero interest in them.
well, I had interest in 11 when it came out, and then it's like, oh, we want your credit card. I'm like, well, this game's going back.
Yeah, no. As soon as I heard that it was online, I was like, nope, don't care. I'll be skipping this one.
Well, the funny thing is about where I lived at the time, we didn't have the internet to support online play.
Oh, well, even more so then.
In the town that I was living in. And I'm like, what the fuck kind of year is this? Like everyone has high speed internet, and here we are with our 56K bullshit.
It's yeah, no, there's a lot of good games. I'm playing Sakura Dungeon at the moment, and I thought it was just going to be like a visual novel that I'd finish in a couple of hours, but it's a proper dungeon crawler. It's like I've been playing for like 12 hours and I'm still only halfway through. So I was surprised. I thought it was just going to be like a throwaway game that I could, just clear out a few games on my backlog. But no, this is like a full-on game.
Well, hold on. Do you guys how many games do you both have on the backlog?
Oh, I think it was about 1,600. I think. Let me double check. I'm pretty
The
sure.
fuck out 1,600.
Yep.
Let me check.
Can't stream that one.
That can't be real.
Let me scroll back up. Let's see.
Fake news.
Okay, I was wrong. It's 1,487. Sorry for exaggerating.
Oh shit! So you're just rounding up? What the fuck?
Well,
are you serious? Holy!
I was guessing at 1,600, but it's 1,487.
That's a lot of games.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of the running joke with me is I've got way too many games.
Hey, Sanguine.
Good
Hey,
evening,
Sanguine.
all. How goes?
Yeah, not bad. How about you?
It goes fairly well. Just had a game session finish out, and it was a hell of a lot of fun.
Very good.
Oh man, Sanguine, you shaved off my beard.
How so?
Okay, so if you look at the YouTube stream, Adam used to be fading very much into the smoke because of the color mixing, but because you joined, he's now being pushed further to the right, so his beard is now actually visible.
I'm gonna write this into the Historia. And then Sanguine joined in, and his beard was much more, and mine. Oh shit! Wait. Shit. What were we talking about?
It looks like the people on the left don't have a problem with their avatars. It's just us stuck on the right where there's problems.
So we push the problem children off to one side. Seems like a good plan.
And T says his backlog is insane. Well, I mean, you heard the size of mine. I'm eager to see if I've been outbid.
Yeah, my backlog is 70.
Oh yeah, Steam
That's not a lot.
backlogs. Yeah, I don't think we're that. I think.
Oh
I'm
wait,
at
are we
30.
talking about how many games we have on Steam that we haven't played yet?
Well, that's
Yes.
Oh, yeah. That's I'm at like 70.
Amateur.
Well,
I'm gonna pull up mine.
I'm a relative rookie when it comes to getting stuff from Steam. Like I was a console peasant for the better part of forever.
Yeah. So
I think
what's
Terry's
Sanguine?
going to be the only one that might have me beat. I'm currently pulling up my Steam to give it a look.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Terry apparently is BCE in size of his backlog. This motherfucker has games that he hasn't played that he bought before the Sea People came, and it made it mistake.
Oh, yeah.
no.
Let me see. Let me filter
Back when
or
Adam's
put them
beard
in
was less
order
gray.
of.
All I
Game
did
time.
is go to the sort it so that it's got the categories, and then just look how many is in the unplayed section. That's all I did.
Okay, so click out of
1900.
that and scroll down. Well, let me do it this way. Unplayed. Okay, so how many did you have, Terry?
1,487.
Yeah, you beat me currently. I have a shit ton of games, but apparently I've at least tried more than I thought I had. Because I'm down to a mere 316 unplayed.
Sanguine 316 says, I just played your game.
Brava.
Because, yeah, I have a fair selection of games thanks to Humble Bundle and various other things like that.
That's basically, I mean, not Humble specifically, but like Fanatical and Indie Gala. That is how I got so many games. It's just, it's cheaper to buy 10 games, one of which you want, than to buy that one game on Steam individually. So sure, I'll take a discount and 9 extra games.
Even the Steam sales are, I joked before. There was, plenty of times that you can get like a whole bunch of Dreamcast games, nights, Saturday, but Sonic Adventure, Jet Set Radio, Crazy Taxi. You can get them all at a good discount for like $2.
I mean, if we want to include every game that I have on my computer, it's much bigger.
That's true.
Yeah. Or like DOSBox, and then Blizzard, obviously.
Technically, I would have the same ones Johnny does because.
But hold on, Steam with Terry in the thousands. Holy shit!
No, because Null DC has basically every single game on every single platform from the Atari through to the Dreamcast.
Yeah.
So if you count that as part of my backlog, then it just grew like thousands. But that's ridiculous.
Exponentially. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so you're counting emulation?
And then if you add Fightcade into that, that's a whole bunch of extra fighting games.
Oh no.
So
okay, never mind.
Counting that stuff as part of my backlog.
And plus, I have duplicate copies of the ones that aren't on Null.
Yeah.
That
we are live, correct?
And if we're also including the other things like GOG and Epic, then my backlog also jumps rather substantially.
Yeah, same here. It's just a lot easier to count on Steam than to go log into platforms I don't really use.
Oh yeah.
I did like GOG when it was actually living up to its name and it was just old games.
Mm-hmm.
But then they kind of realized that there's not enough money in that, so they started selling modern stuff as well. And now all the old stuff gets kind of drowned out by the modern stuff. They've lost their identity.
A little bit, but at the same time, you can find shit that you can't find anywhere else on GOG. Like, the games that when we were talking about FMV games, and I mentioned the Journeyman Project series.
Yeah.
You can't find those fucking anywhere. GOG has all of them, and it's amazing.
That's true. The Tex Murphy games, I will always have a soft spot for GOG because the very first Tex Murphy game, Mean Streets, I played that as a kid, and for like 20 years I had this memory of this game, and I had no idea what it was called or how to look it up. And then I was just scrolling GOG, and it's like, this is it. Holy fuck, this is the game. And I bought it the second I could get my fingers to cooperate. Like, enter details. Send. Buy now.
And then Terry had to buy a new mouse because he had broken it trying to click on one button.
That's like there's an old game. It was one of the old school God games. You guys remember God games, right?
Which one?
God games.
God games. Games where rather than being a city planner or whatever the fuck, you were the god of the world. And you were
just like Tier put on there, black and white too.
Yep. Yeah. Do you mean as a genre, or was it
the genre?
Oh yeah. I've played plenty of them.
Well, and to establish kind of a degree, but like Dino Park Tycoon, that would be kind of a god game, right?
It's god game adjacent. It isn't god game though.
Okay,
I think
well,
the
okay.
the first one I played would have been ActRaiser.
We're establishing boundaries. Yes.
Yeah, one of the god games.
ActRaiser was a literal god game where you played God.
Yep.
Oh.
One of the first god games that I remember playing when I was really little was Populous: The Beginning, also known as
Yes,
Populous.
Populous.
Say again? Terry? I heard you say something, and I heard Adam also acknowledge Populous, which is fucking amazing. But what did you say, Terry?
All I said was, yes, that's another one.
Ah, okay. Yeah. Populous 2 was one of the first god games that I played. And good goddamn, I love that game from when I was younger. And I was trying to find somewhere, anywhere, that I could find Populous. And GOG has Populous. So I now have Populous.
No, it's like all those old games are still there, but if I go to GOG, they're not front and center. They're like,
yeah, they aren't pushed to the fore as much.
You have to go looking for them. You have to be like, oh, I remember Psychic Detective on the PlayStation. I wonder if they've got that. And then you have to like go there looking for a specific thing. It's not like, hey, welcome to our old games collection. See anything you want to buy? It's like, here's all our modern games. By the way, there's like an old game section just at the back if you're into that kind of thing. But
so
yeah.
I do have to ask, which channel did you see do the playthrough of Psychic Detective that made you go, son of a bitch, I remember this game and have to get it?
None. I played it on the PlayStation as a teenager. Thought it was like very, very interesting. I won't say good because it's not.
It's not, yeah. You'd be lying.
but it is interesting. It was the first time I'd seen that concept, and so it just stuck in my head. And then I went looking for a way to play it, and eventually, after much searching, I found. I think I played it on Null most recently, but it's probably on abandonware sites, and I don't know if GOG has it, but I definitely saw it on abandonware sites.
I found a copy of a game that I liked when I was younger called Dungeon Master 2.
Oh yeah.
It took forever to find it. And yeah, it was I played it recently and I'm like, I don't know how I spent hours playing this game.
Oh yeah, there are definitely some games where you end up having that experience where you're going, this game was amazing! I can't wait to... What the fuck was wrong with me?
Well, and it was funny because I got through the first part of the game, and I remember spending hours on this game. And I had never gotten past that first part. I just spent the entire time like practicing spells and making potions and shit to sell.
Oh, okay.
And I'm like, oh, I'm just going to make money doing this and then just build up my guys. And then by that time, I'm just like, nope, game over. Like, I win. Like, I have no idea what's going on.
Yeah. That, if I remember the game correctly, that is also a take on the god game genre. Where it's effectively the dark god game. Because that's Dungeon Master... trying to remember, there's like 3 games that are very similar names. There's like Dungeon Master,
Keeper?
Dungeon Keeper, and there was one more.
Dungeon Lord, maybe?
Maybe. That were all, you design your own dungeon and you fill it out with baddies and you conquer or you prevent people from conquering your dungeons, and in some of those, you go out of your dungeon and you conquer the overworld.
Yeah, the basic idea is an inversion of the standard, where this time you're making the traps and the monsters and
Yep,
killing the heroes who try and defeat you.
exactly.
I
And
forget which one's which. I know they all started with dungeon.
yeah, like I said, there's like 3 or 4 game series. Only one of them has continued making games.
I think Dungeon Keeper is the one I played.
Let me quickly double check because I have the one that continued making games because they came out with one like 2-3 years ago. And I got it when it came out because it was fun. It's one of the ones that took itself the least serious.
Well, that's always good.
And let me check. Is it just now called Dungeons?
I played Town of Salem last weekend for the first time in probably a good 6 or 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
I've never played that.
I was the jailer.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I was supposed to do was, arrest someone. If I think they're on the bad side, I kill them.
Mm-hmm.
If I kill someone on the good side, on the town side, then I can no longer execute anyone.
Mm-hmm.
And there was one guy that I had, and we sat there, and he just said hello, and I'm like, hi, and that's all it was. That was our conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And then he goes out and he's like, well, I couldn't heal this guy, so no. And I'm like, all right, I'll just rearrest him and then kill him. So it turns out he was the jester.
Nah.
But by the time I got there, like, I couldn't get to him because, like, the last time I played it was on mobile.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm like, I don't even know what these controls are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that game, it's either ridiculously fun or absolute hell, and there's not much in between. At least as far as I've played, it's either just like, yeah, this is awesome, you're doing shit, or, well, I died first turn. Fuck.
It's one of those games I'm curious about, but I don't want to play with strangers, and I also don't have the energy, or I'm not willing to put in the effort of actually organizing a whole bunch of people to play it with. It's like, yeah, it's something that if
we could
someone happens to be playing it, I'll join, but I'm not going to set things up myself.
If we could get 12 people organized enough to play that game.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
Yeah. Like, even 8's a stretch. But,
I mean, if you think about it, the only reason Gunsky can make it to 8 every week is because he's got 4 people who are consistent regulars.
Yeah.
Like, including him.
And that's just due to the blackmail.
But, like, he's only actually got to find 4, which is a lot easier than finding 8 people every week who want to play.
Yeah.
Whoa! Yo, hey, actually, that reminds me. What is it? Jackpack or whatever. Number 9 is on a release for the Switch.
It's out today.
It's $10 or $20.
Yeah, but like I think we were talking about this last time. You don't need to buy it unless you're going to host. Anyone can play. Like if Johnny, for instance, set up the game, anyone here or in chat or who knew the room code could join for free. You don't have to own it.
Much like
What the Dub?
Dub or Rift Tracks.
Yeah. Because, yeah, you were saying what did you buy it for, and the answer is probably nothing. You don't need to own the game at all.
Well,
Unless you want to host.
Yes, exactly.
well, we'll see how it. I'm gonna give it some beta tests this weekend, so we'll see how it goes.
Actually,
And I looked up the dungeon game that I was trying to remember. And
Oh,
the
yeah?
dungeon game that I was trying to remember is just called Dungeons. So
Oh.
all of them had dungeon in the name. It was Dungeons, Dungeon Keeper, and Dungeon Masters
Yeah.
were the 3 games that all had almost identical names. They
Yeah.
were all the same theme, but they each took it in a different direction. So I think it was Dungeon Master was the most serious of them. It had some witty banter, but it was mostly serious. Dungeons went the most slapstick comedy of it, with, again, banter. And then it was Dungeon Keeper played it serious. Or played it right down the line.
I don't remember there being much banter in Dungeon Master.
I think it's Dungeon Master 2 where they added in the voiceover. I think Dungeon 1 that you didn't have any voiceover.
But then again, like I said, I only didn't play past the first part, so I have no idea.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's,
You kind of just start. You start in a room. You pick a couple people, and then you just go.
Yeah, I was always bad at those games. Like they're fun, but I'm never very good at them. But no, with Jackbox, I actually only own the first 2, and that's because they've got games that I wanted to play solo. Which was the first You Don't Know Jack. Well, not the first, the one in the first party pack.
Yeah.
And the second one was Bomb Core, where it's basically just logic puzzles, but the multiplayer game, you each only get part of the clues, so you've got to like talk to each other and solve it in a very short time frame, which never works.
And Terry says
that
he
fun
played these games by himself. He plays the second one by himself. He just pulls up the screen of the first one as he drinks and wishes that was the case.
Mm-hmm. But no, in Bomb Core, I actually found it's technically cheating, but if you pause the game, the time stops ticking down, which makes it a lot easier to solve the logic puzzles.
You cheeky little bastard.
Hey, my rule is if the game lets you do it, it's not cheating. Like, they didn't have to have pausing the game leave the puzzle on screen and stop time. Usually they black out the screen or they do something to prevent you from from abusing it. If they don't do that, then they must want me to, or at least be okay with me pausing the game.
I still stand by my you cheeky little fuck.
But I love finding things like that where it's probably not what they intended, but it does meet the technical requirements of playing. Like with GTA 4, one of the achievements was to get a 6-star wanted rating and survive for 60 seconds. Now, if you try and do it legit, that is brutally hard. But what you can do is start a new game, drive into the tunnel that links the 2 islands, and as soon as you cross the line that makes you part of the second island, you're not supposed to be there that early in the game. Instant 6-star wanted rating. No one can find you because you're underground. So you just sit there for 60 seconds and you get an achievement.
Nice.
Did I cheat? I would say no.
You just took advantage of the game.
Yeah, I'm not going to deny that I did that. But, they allowed for it to be done that way.
Mm-hmm.
It's like with Suikoden and the gambling glitch, where like you play this dice game where and 99% of the time, you're gonna either end up getting paid triple. Mostly, you'll be getting paid triple, just based on the computer's bad luck.
Mm-hmm.
Or you may like lose a game. Like at the very least, you're always going to be at least winning one game in a set.
Mm-hmm.
And so you play the first game. The computer goes first, so he rolls the die, and it's like, okay, oh, I got 1, 2, 3. I gotta pay you double of what you bet. Okay, you want to bet double or nothing from this? Sure. Okay, let's try this. Na. Oh, I rolled three ones. I have to pay you triple. And then they add that, and they're like, okay, you want to go double or nothing on this one? Sure. And then you roll that again. It's like, oh, I didn't roll anything. It's your turn. And then you just roll, and it's like, oh, you got a thing. Here, I'll just pay you this money. Do you want to go again? But by that time, you're already maxed out, so you can just cash out there.
Nice.
And then you can just buy whatever armor and power up your weapons and shit like that.
That just makes me think of all the games. I know Jade Empire did it, and there were a bunch of other games in that same sort of genre that did it, where it built in a mechanism of detecting save scumming in gambling. So if you tried to save scum past a certain point, the person that you gambled against head would just explode, and you wouldn't be able to gamble anymore.
No, I don't know if they had any save scum detection, but I'm pretty sure in Knights of the Old Republic, if you won too many games in a row, which is only really possible if you're save scumming because of just the laws of probability, it's highly unlikely you'll win 10 games in a row. So if you did, then he accused you of cheating and just refused to play with you anymore. So, I mean, I don't think he detected the save scumming. I think they just reasonably assumed that if you've got that kind of a winning streak, you're cheating.
Yeah.
That might be the way that they did it. All I know is that they had a means of anti-cheat built in that would be their head explodes in Jade Empire.
But they've already solved save scumming. If you don't want people to do that, you just delete the save when it gets loaded so that you can only save your place if you're stopping, if you want to stop playing for a bit. But when you load, that save gets deleted and you've got to then save again next time you want to stop. And that stops it. You can't save scum under that system.
But also that causes the problem of if someone's game crashes, then suddenly they get very pissed off because, no, I saved here, then my game crashed, then I loaded back in, and I have to start over from the fucking beginning again. Fuck you.
Well, no, you could also combine that with an autosave.
Yep.
So, it would autosave after you've done, something to stop you from save scumming, but also prevent, unless the game crashes, within 10 seconds of you loading it or something, you'll play long enough to hit the autosave point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of different methods. Some of them look at game data, because that's what Undertale did infamously.
Yeah.
It would look at the game data and say, oh, no, you already killed her, you little bitch.
But another one is just to have, the seed be, constant, so that you can, reload if you want, but you're going to get the exact same random numbers coming out.
Yep.
That's a lot of XCOM and random chance-based games will just have a set seed. It's no, I know it says you've got a 85% chance of hitting, but the random number is 90. You miss. Sorry. and you can reload as much as you want. You're never going to hit.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
That's like with the climbing game in Suikoden 2.
Yeah.
If you do a save state and then you select like, oh, I'm gonna roll. Okay, there you go. We'll just pick a random number for you. But if you save state before, like if you select you're gonna roll, and then you save state and then you roll, it will pick the same number every time.
It's already picked the number at that point.
There's one game that I really love how they talked about save scumming because they actually built it into the lore of the world.
Mm-hmm.
Do you happen to remember which game that is, Terry? I'm not sure if you ever played it.
It does sound very familiar. I'm sure as soon as you say it, I'm going to be like, oh, of course. But
Morrowind.
What is it?
Morrowind.
Oh,
Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind. It
Yes.
built in save scumming into the lore. Because in that you play the Nervine or Nerivian, something along those lines. I can't remember how it's properly said.
That's actually not the game I was thinking of. There is another one, but I can't remember what it's called. Where your superpower is the ability to do that. Is to say effectively your superpower is the power to save scum.
Nice. Yeah. In Morrowind, the way that it worked was the power of the Nervine is that they're able to see the future and try to change it. So, as you're playing through the game, you're not actually playing through the game as the characters going through the game. You're playing through a possible route of reality that
That's pretty cool.
if that ends up with you dying and you resave, that the Nervine, before they've even gotten off the ship in the beginning of the game, going, nope, that causes me to die. Okay, let's go this route.
That is really cool. But yeah, I don't know the name of the one I was thinking of, but they actually like the big like twist at the end is like, well, how did you think you survived this long? Clearly, you've got the power of. I mean, they didn't explicitly call it save scumming, but you know, of choosing timelines or what you know, they like that was the like plot twist at the end was like, well, how do you think you survived this entire journey? You obviously you've got control over different timelines.
Yep. Yeah, and in the Elder Scrolls, they have a character in world tell you this
Right.
in a way that makes sense because there's one of the gods is Vivek. And Vivek has become ridiculously wise. He has all this knowledge. And at a certain point, he goes, yeah, there's no way in hell I'm going to fight you. There's no point in me fighting you. Because regardless of if I could beat you in this fight right now, this fight never happens unless you know that you're going to win.
Right.
So, I'm fucked regardless of what happens. I'm not going to fight you. You want to kill me? Kill me. But you aren't going to just figure out how to beat me and then come and do it. It's like, oh shit, okay.
I never liked the Elder Scrolls games, but that like there's bits of them that actually sound really cool. Like I think you could become a vampire in was it Morrowind?
You could become a vampire in Oblivion. You could become a vampire in, or you could become a werewolf in Morrowind. You could become a vampire in Oblivion, and you could become a vampire or a werewolf in Skyrim. But Skyrim's breed of vampire, because just like there's a whole bunch of different sapient races of Tamriel, there's multiple sorts of vampires.
Okay.
So depending on which sort of vampire you become, you get different abilities, and the sort that inhabits Skyrim fucking suck.
Let me cut in here and say I think this is a classic meme, right?
Mhm.
But it took it to the knee. Um, as much as I'd love to hang out with y'all, I'm gonna have to go. Usually I don't hang out too late during the week on these
No
shows,
worries.
Yep.
but I look forward to hanging out with you all again. And of course, Johnny Hellcat. Hey, thank you for inviting me on, man.
Hey, no problem.
It's far and few between that you've done that, and I appreciate that. Uh, we should make it more of a thing. But you all have a wonderful evening, and God bless. Take care. I love you. Right?
See you, Adam.
Have a good one,
That's
Adam.
it. Take care of that hair.
But yeah, the way that Morwen did it, it's kind of like, what was that Nick Cage movie where he could see the future?
Next.
Yeah. No, not Next. That was. Was it Next? I thought Next was the one that had. No, that was Click. Never mind. Yeah, Next. You're right with that.
Click was a movie that I did enjoy, by the way.
Okay. Yeah. The movie Next. It came out when? The early 2000s, so I don't feel bad spoiling the plot, because if you were planning on seeing it, you've already had enough fucking time to do so.
I'd never even heard of the movie until now, but I don't mind if you spoil it.
I mean, it's not that good of a movie anyway, but...
It's not that good of a movie, but it had a decent explanation for how shit was working out.
Yeah, that's true.
Because in the movie, the premise is that Nick Cage's character can see the future. And that as he uses this power, he can stretch it further and further and further. So you're watching this movie.
He can only go 5 minutes at a time.
At the beginning.
Yeah.
And he's able to stretch it further as he goes. And then at the end, you find out that there's this massive climax scene where he ends up dying in the massive climax scene. And then it starts at the beginning of the massive climax scene. He ends up dying. It starts at the beginning of the massive climax scene. He ends up dying. And he does it 4 times before he finds one way that he can survive. And then he starts doing that. And he's constantly having to revamp the future. So you'll see him split off from himself, die in front of him. As he then takes the step in the opposite direction to survive.
It's a movie. I haven't seen this movie, but I really love the concept, even though I'm sure it's not a very good movie. I had to look it up. It's called In Time, where your remaining lifespan is used as currency.
Oh, that's a garbage movie.
Yeah, I'm sure it's a shit movie, but I love the concept of you can pay for a loaf of bread by decreasing your lifespan by 3 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
And just the concept of the movie is awesome. So I would, if I ever found a way to watch it for free, I would watch it. And sure, it's going to be garbage, but I just want to see what they do with it.
And see, this is the thing that pisses me off about reboots, because every time that they do a reboot of a movie that was good, and they decide to shit it up.
Well, you know why.
Yeah, I know why, but
hey, Gabby,
I just desperately wish that they would go to a movie that was really promising premise, but just absolute garbage execution.
Yeah.
And do that movie. You want a reboot? Okay. Take a movie that could have been fantastic, but was fucked up in how it was done.
Yeah.
And make it what it could have been.
Well, that's if you have artistic integrity, which is in vanishingly short supply these days.
Oh, yeah.
Especially in Hollywood.
Yes.
Because there's just a lot of movies that when you look at them, you're going, man, this movie could have been really fucking good. Why is it so terrible?
Yeah.
And then you find out, oh, we're going to reboot this classic. Fuck you.
Yeah, like you don't remake, say,
Hey,
Ghostbusters. There's no reason. Everyone already loves Ghostbusters. Leave Ghostbusters alone.
Mm-hmm. Leave it alone until it's been a fucking age from now. Then you might be able to do we're going to modernize it. Okay, I guess you can try to modernize it. Don't try to reboot it. Just try to take it and modernize. But even then, I'm going
into that.
Yeah, even then, I wouldn't be overly keen because it isn't like plays. Plays you can do that endlessly with because plays were always meant to continue being done. Movies, if you still have the original, why fuck with it if the original was fantastic?
Yeah, exactly. It's like people who try to colorize old movies. Like, I don't want to see Casablanca in color. It's meant to be black and white.
To a certain degree, I agree with what you just said. To another degree, I have very little problem with colorizing certain sorts of movies. Other movies I'd have a big problem with, like I would never want them to fully colorize High and Low. Are you familiar with that movie at all, Terry?
No.
So it was one of the movies that Toshiro Mifune was in, and it was one of Kurosawa's movies.
I was just thinking Yojimbo when you were talking about colorization.
Yep. So with High and Low, there's one scene where it was the first time that Kurosawa used color. He had the choice of doing the entire movie in color. This was the one scene where he decided to do it. So, movie's entirely black and white. They sew a dye pack into a briefcase in order to exchange ransom money. And the character that Toshiro Mifune plays, he sews it into the briefcase so that if that briefcase is destroyed, it will make the smoke a strange color. And they mention this several times. And then it shows a skyline of Tokyo. And then you see pink smoke in this black and white movie.
Oh, okay, I see it. That I can understand, yeah.
Yeah, that works really well. And that was how it was done. Like I said, he had the choice of shooting the entire thing in color. He decided not to. Just colorize pink smoke.
Well,
so that
sounds like an artistic decision.
Yeah.
Like that has like merit behind it. It's not just let's just color everything in and then resell it, which is my real issue.
Yeah.
But I'm saying that I would have a problem if someone went to that movie and decided to colorize it, because you're now destroying one part of that movie by colorizing the entire thing, because that was what made that scene stand out. Just like I would have a problem with someone saying, we need to go back and we need to completely recolorize The Wizard of Oz. No, fuck you. The black and white parts stay black and white, because they were meant to be that way. But if someone says, hey, let's go back and colorize Tora, I'd be going, okay, yeah, sure. Because that wasn't a conscious style choice. That wasn't anything like that. It was just, we want to make this movie. And we have black and white cameras. We're making it with black and white cameras. Fuck it.
I think my stance is essentially, if the movie is highly regarded, leave it alone. Even if it's like not black and white by choice, it's just black and white by happenstance. Even so, if it's a classic, leave it alone. If it's some black and white movie that no one really paid attention to, that you think would have a new lease on life if you recolored it. That's okay. But if it's like, you know what, we need a new version of Psycho. No, you don't.
See, I would only have problems with them doing a full color version of it if they then stopped selling the black and white. As long as you can choose between the full color and the black and white, I have no problem with someone going back and say, let's do a colorized Casablanca.
Sure.
Let's do a colorized Psycho. But yeah, if they ever went, we're just going to do colorized now, fuck you if you want to see it black and white. That I would be against.
Well, no, obviously, but I mean, obviously, if they want to, they can. It's their money. But I'm just talking about, would I consider this a worthwhile project? Like, and I don't see any value in releasing a colorized version of Psycho. The original is highly regarded. Leave it alone. Don't mess with it. If you find some obscure movie no one gives a shit about that you think, no, we need to colorize this movie and release it to a new audience, okay, fine. But just stop fucking with the classics.
Yeah, I'm, like I said, as long as they're touching nothing but the color, I don't really have a problem with it. If they edit any of the scenes, fuck you. If you try to remake, no, fuck you. If you're just recoloring, that doesn't bother me just because that isn't changing it unless, like I said, it's one of those movies where there was the conscious decision of, should we do this in color or should we do it black and white? Like if someone went, we're going to completely colorize Sin City. Sin City is by no stretch of the imagination amazing cinema to the degree of Citizen Kane or any of the classic movies that we've been talking about. But it was a decent movie. It had its style. It had its flair. So I would be going, no, what the fuck? You're doing the exact opposite of what this was intended to be by doing this.
Oh, no, like I said, if there's an artistic decision behind the black and white, then absolutely leave it alone.
Yeah.
But, no, I think, I you know, if they want to, they can. I'm not going to be, like, posting on Twitter saying this must be stopped. I'm just like...
You just wouldn't buy it yourself.
I wouldn't see the value in it. It's like, what are you doing? Why are you wasting your money in, like, this is stupid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if they came to you and either tried to sell you it or asked if you were willing to invest in it, you'd be going, no.
Yeah, God, no. And the sad thing is they probably would remove the black and white version if current practices are anything to go by in the video game world.
I suppose. There's certain companies that seem more prone to do that than others.
Sure.
And then there's also one of the examples of a game that you can't get the original of anymore, but you can get a slightly different version that I don't really have that big of a problem with, are the first two Yakuza games.
Right. But I still think the first two games should be available in their original form. If someone wants to play Yakuza 1, not Yakuza Kiwami, they should have that available to them.
Well, you can get it by going to the original game, or by getting a copy of the original game, but the thing is that because the original game was just PS1, they had to change so much shit in order to get it to function normal that they went, okay, we're throwing in extra content as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think the main thing there was the original was never on. They didn't take Yakuza 1 off Steam. They just never put it on.
Yeah, and it's because they never had a PC Yakuza 1.
Right. Whereas what I'm complaining about is like with GTA, where you cannot buy GTA 3, Vice City, or the San Andreas. You can't buy the original versions of those on Steam. They were removed, and you have to buy the new ones if you don't already own the old ones.
Yep.
That is what I'm complaining about.
Yeah, that is the part that pisses me off about that type of shit. Like, they did that with Warcraft 3, where they had the Warcraft 3 remaster was what they were selling, and they pulled original Warcraft 3 off, and then turned out that it wasn't just a remaster, because for those not entirely familiar with the term, remaster just means that they're going back through and they're fixing assets, they're revamping the sound, making sure that everything works nicely on the new material, but it's the same game. It's just improved sound, improved graphics.
Like
that's
the
a remaster.
like the Final Fantasy series for Steam now.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's a remaster. What they did with Warcraft 3 was what they then later called the Reforged version, which is to say they changed shit. So the version that they then started to sell was not the version that everyone played when they played it the first time. They had changed a shit ton of things. It wasn't just they had redone some of the sprite work because it got a bit muddied in updating it. It wasn't just that they kind of touched up some of the janky moments of the portraits where when the game was sold, the mouth kind of yawned open at an awkward point, so they fixed that up. No, they went through it and they changed shit.
But that's actually why I think Null, DC Bear, is such a brilliant thing. It's basically archival of all these old games. Like, sure, 99% of them are complete shit, but if you want to play, you know, some bizarre Japanese game that no one gives two shits about, it's there. You can play it, and like, you know, the original GTA 3.
What's the one with the robot penis?
Oh God, I don't know.
The Japanese game where it's one of those flying bullet hells, only you're a person flying through the sky. One of the bosses is this dude with a massive metal codpiece, and then at a certain point, the metal codpiece opens up, and it's the same dude coming out on an elongated torso, shall we say?
I did not play this game. Whatever it is, I didn't play it.
I don't know what weird Japanese shit you've been into, but yeah, I don't recognize that either.
It's amazing. If you've ever seen that game, you probably have it burned into your mind like I do. It is fantastic. I recommend it, but it is one of those weird fucking Japanese games where you're just going, what cocktail of drugs? Because this wasn't one drug. No, fuck you. This is not one drug.
But if you know, something like Brutal, Paws of Fury on the Super Nintendo, there are approximately 0 people who actually want to play this game. But I'm glad that there is a way for it to be played should anyone decide that they want to.
You own it, don't you?
What's that?
You own it, don't you?
No, I've got it on Null. Like, Null has every game on every platform. So if I wanted to download it, I could. It's easy to do. But I mean, it's an absolute garbage game. But if you want to play Brutal Paws of Fury or Balls with a Z, is another great fighting game that was on the Super Nintendo. They're there. They're available if you want to play them.
Mm-hmm.
In Fightcade and Null are the two greatest archival things. It's so many bad fighting games came out in the 90s. It was a beautiful time.
Oh yeah.
Yep. I'm trying to remember the one where there was a clown and then there was a slime creature.
That was Clay Fighter.
Clay Fighter? Okay.
The clown was Bonker, and the slime creature was the Blob.
Yep, that's right.
And bad Mr. Frosty.
And Mr. Taffy.
Yeah, Taffy. And there was Tiny, the bodybuilder. There was Helga, the opera singer. Blue Suede Goo. I'll leave it to your imagination who that might be a parody of. There are, some good characters in that.
And for those who don't know, it was clearly Paul McCartney was who it was a joke on.
It's no, apparently Blue Suede Goo was like the worst character in the game, but he was always my favorite just because of his name.
Yeah. It was one of those characters that you wouldn't... Man, their moveset's amazing. You would play just so that you could piss off the other person.
Yeah, there's a guy, Justin Wong. His entire claim to fame is he's one of the best fighting game players in the world, and he annoys people by like playing ultra defensively, and that's his thing. And so like people just get frustrated and they like get impatient and they start attacking him, and that's when he beats them.
Yep, that's when he punishes them for their...
Yeah, and it's like people's like, oh god, I hate Justin Wong. He's always playing lame, and like that, and so he's just playing lame. Is now just playing like a turtle and like being defensive and playing runaway and just trying to frustrate the opponent into just let me do something, for fuck's sake, just anything, and then they do something stupid and
then he wins because when you fuck up, he can capitalize.
Yeah. No, I don't mind watching him play because everyone says he's boring to watch because he plays like that. I don't mind. I think it's cool.
Mm-hmm. Because it's watching someone who really knows their shit.
Yeah.
And not only knows their shit on how to play the character that they're playing, but knows their shit on how to fuck up other people.
He's unironically one of the like legends in the game like genre. Like I don't know if you've heard of it, but there's like Evo moment number 37 where someone full parried a 17-hit super. He was the one who got parried. He's like that good. He's like he made the Evo Grand Final repeatedly. He won. He set a goal for himself. I think it was either last year or the year before to win 100 tournaments online, and he succeeded. He's like brilliant at video games, at fighting games specifically.
Mm-hmm.
It's always funny when other content creators who are decent but not brilliant like play against him and they just get completely destroyed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's one of those things that when you see someone who's really damn good at something, it's impressive. Even if you aren't interested in it to begin with, just seeing someone who is a master of what they're doing always gets you kind of that like, ooh, sort of sensation.
And it is interesting because the more you know about whatever it is they're a master of, the more you appreciate just how good they are.
Yeah.
Like if I watch, I don't know any like sports players, but if I watch like a famous football player, I'm gonna think, oh yeah, he's pretty good, but I'm not gonna understand what he did that was so brilliant. Whereas someone who's like really into it is gonna be like, oh, did you see the way he did that? That was amazing.
Yep. Yeah. And it's one of those things that when you see someone who's really a master of their craft, even if you don't know, you can acknowledge that, okay, I don't know why, but they're fucking fantastic at this.
Yeah. Yeah, my point is just that the more you understand the field that they're mastered, the more you realize, holy fuck, these guys really are amazing. This is insane.
Yep, and it's one of those things that those are also the people that get you interested in it in the first place.
I mean, yeah.
you see them and you go, holy shit, and then you realize that they're good, but you don't realize how fucking good they are. Then you start getting into it, and as you're getting into it, you then keep on having that, oh no, fuck me, I was way goddamn off. I thought they were good, but fuck me.
Yeah. Like the other guy who was in Evo Moment number 37 is Daigo Umehara. He's a Japanese guy. And watching him on YouTube, I mean, there's a channel that takes his streams and translates them because he streams in Japanese, obviously. But watching him play is like, holy shit. That is just beautiful almost. It's just the way he controls space, the way he always seems to know when they're going to jump. He's got some like a colloquial term of the ume shoryu, which is when he just knows they're going to jump and he does a dragon punch almost psychically and he's almost never wrong. That is how good he is at reading his opponent.
Yeah, and you get this with a shit ton of different things. It isn't just with games, it isn't just with sports, but you can see this in pretty much any field that you can name. Because you can hear a musician that is an absolute master of their craft, and you can hear how beautiful the song is. But then once you start actually trying to learn how to play because that person inspired you, you're just immediately kicked in the teeth by, okay, fuck me, I thought they were good.
Yeah.
This person's goddamn divine.
Yeah. But it was YouTube that got me back into fighting games because it was always something I was like passively interested in. But then it was like Brian F and Punk and Sajam, and it's like I started like, I don't know how I came across their stuff, but I just saw it. It's like, oh man, I really want to start playing fighting games again, and then I just haven't stopped.
I do really appreciate how you didn't mention one of the people that really tried to make his bones on his one win in tournament, and then just fucked up his entire
Darkside Phil
life. Yep.
I've never seen Darkside Phil. I know he was apparently a pretty decent player back in the day, but
the thing is that he was kind of a mid-tier player. Then there was one year where there was a port of one of the games at EVO that everyone goddamn hated. So most of the big names refused to play in that tournament in protest of them using that port.
Right. That makes sense.
So he then was one of the people that went, no, I'll still play. And he ended up winning that year's tournament.
I think it was Super Turbo. I seem to remember.
I think it was their port of Super Turbo 2.
There was no Super Turbo 2. But
there wasn't?
No, I mean...
Super Turbo the port of 2?
It was Street Fighter 2 Super Turbo was the name of the game.
Okay, yeah. It was the port of 2 then.
But everyone loves Super Turbo, but I think the American version has bugs and problems with it. So if it was
and
playing,
they were using the American version.
Yeah, but the Japanese one is the one that you're like supposed to play on because that's like not broken and shit.
Yep. But yeah, it was they were using the American version that had all the fucking bugs in it. And
no one wanted to play it, right?
The big names that would have won the tournament any other year refused to play because they were going, no, you're using the wrong version.
Fair enough. So the one thing I thought he was okay at, he's not even good at. He
just lucked out and was the best player at a broken version that was willing to play that broken version.
No, because I do remember seeing a match with Darkside Phil and I think it was Seth Killian, and I don't know. I think Seth was playing as Balrog, and he was like doing the throw loops, and Darkside Phil ended up winning with whoever his character was.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, that was his claim to fame, and he really tried to make his name off of it to the point where
you need more than one tournament win to make a name for yourself.
Yep, but he tried to make it off of one tournament win, and he started adding it to everything that he did. That I won Evo this one year. I did this.
That's just cringy.
And everyone just kind of started going, yeah, shut the fuck up. You did it 1 year on the broken version. No one gives a damn. Half the people didn't show up that year. Why are you treating as if this is some amazing accomplishment of your life?
It probably is for him.
Yeah, it is. And
so you're saying Cobra Kai was written based off of that one EVO win?
Effectively, yeah.
When I think of shitty fighting game players, I always go to LTG, Low Tier God. He's hilarious, though he does not intend to be.
Mm-hmm.
He's like such a bad sport. Like, he thinks he's the best player in the world, but he keeps losing. And like, that's not him being shit at the game. That's them not playing properly, and he can't do. He can't counter that because it's not proper play. And like, he's always got an excuse for why it's not his fault that he lost.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what person. One of my friends when I was in college was really big into Evo.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember one of the guys that he kept on talking about just became, I think it was like Broke Tier Nick was his nickname.
Okay.
Because he would just use Broke Tier characters. And then 1 year he used someone that was like Trash Tier rather than Broke Tier and just fucking wiped with him.
Nice.
And everyone was just like, what the fuck? How did you do this shit? What the fuck happened?
If you can win a fight with roll, you can pretty much win with anyone.
Yeah. Because he went
that's another one of Justin Wong's claims to fame is he's like famous for the Marvel vs. Capcom series most of all. And if he's playing like top tier characters, then obviously he's insanely good. But he will pick like Roll and Servbot and like Ryu, all these characters that are just shit, and he'll still kick people's asses with like team garbage.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like he actually gets annoyed at them because like he'll pick his shitty team and then they'll pick a kind of average team. And he's like, no, just pick a proper team. And it's like, so he'll win and he's like, go on, pick a proper team. And then they won't. He's like, no. He'll beat him again. He's like, come on, pick a proper team. And then they finally will and he'll still win.
Mm-hmm.
It's just funny watching him. He's getting like, dude, I know you want to pick Storm and Sentinel and Magneto. Just do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's one of those things that when you see someone like that, which is why I have the policy that I do when it comes to art of something is only art when you can see mastery in it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I get so pissed off at quote-unquote modern art.
Oh, God.
Because I'm sorry, painting a red square on a white sheet of paper is not some ridiculous artistic talent. It's not something that I'm going, man, if I had even a fraction of the skill that this dude has, think of all the art that I could make. No, I'm going, okay, did he use a house roller?
Yeah, no, if you look at something and go, well, I could do that, and you actually can, then, yeah, that's not art.
Yeah, if you can look at it and it not be hubris to say, I can do that.
Exactly, yeah. Like, sure, like some idiot can look at, Steve Vai playing guitar and go, I could do that. They're idiots. They can't actually do that. But if you're looking at a red square, I can do that.
Yeah, it's the reason why I think that we need to go back to having differentiation between the art of something and just doing something, because there's a difference between being a painter and being an artistic painter.
Right. Like there's house painters who like paint walls and stuff.
Exactly. There's house painters that, yeah, they paint a wall,
Hmm.
but they paint. And then there's people that are falling shy of artistic, but they can paint things that look kind of interesting on a wall.
Right.
No one's going, wow, where the hell did you get that? Think hotel room paintings, where it's that kind of abstract art where you're going, oh yeah, that's kind of nice. And then you continue on and you never pay attention to it ever again. And that needs to have a distinction between that level of art and art.
No, I agree.
And it just drives me crazy. It's the same thing that they're trying to do with genius as well, where they're trying to just completely dilute what genius means.
Mm-hmm.
Because, oh, don't you know that there's many ways to be intelligent? There's emotional intelligence.
No, there's not.
No. Yeah, emotional intelligence is bullshit. Do you remember what emotional intelligence actually is?
No, it's just like being able to empathize with people or something.
So, are you familiar with the Big Five personality traits?
Run through them. I'm sure they'll sound familiar, but not off the top of my head.
Let me pull up the list of the Big Five. I remember most of them, but I don't. There's two. I remember like two or three of them, and then there's two that normally stick. So, Big Five personality. But they're 5-factor model of personality. Pull this up. So the Big Five are openness, conscientiousness, extroversion, agreeableness, and neuroticism.
Okay, yeah, I have heard of those.
So you have each of those, and they are each a range. So openness, you look at people that are really open versus people that are really closed. They have opposite ends. Conscientiousness, you have people that are really dependable, really conscientious, and then you have people that just kind of fuck off and do their own thing. Each of them has that sort of extreme extroversion versus introversion. So these are just the categories. And the emotional IQ is actually just a test of your trait openness and your trait agreeableness.
No, okay.
That's all it is. It doesn't do anything else. All it tests for is trait openness and trait agreeableness.
I mean, being agreeable is not always desirable. I mean, there's a lot of benefits to being disagreeable in certain situations.
Yeah.
Yep. And that's the thing when it comes down to it. All it's testing is your ability to go with the flow effectively. That's what
indeed more useless than I thought.
Yeah, that's what emotional IQ is actually testing. And there have been people that have tried to come up with a means of differentiating between emotional IQ and trait openness and trait agreeableness, and every attempt thus far has failed miserably. They've tried to develop tests that will test only for emotional IQ, and no, it turns out that that is also a openness and agreeableness test. Well, okay, we'll make a test that is only for emotion, for openness and agreeableness, and doesn't even think of touching on IQ, emotional IQ, and they make that test, and nope, that's emotional IQ test again. Every attempt has failed because they are the same fucking thing, and it's just people that wanted to be glad-handed, fucking, you're a genius, decided that they would come up with emotional IQ.
That is ridiculous.
But I am actually starting to fade out, so I think we're going to call it.
Not a problem.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I guess we'll go with parting thoughts. Sanguine?
I'll leave off with my standard of, if you're passionate about something, make sure that you devour it. Don't let it devour you.
Terry?
I saw a tweet on No Not Lenny's where he found a place called Waffle Squawf. I must go there at some point in my life.
Yeah, Waffle Squirf.
He has a new mission in life.
It was meant to be Waffle Square, but the bottom fell off the E. So Waffle Squawf it is.
That is fantastic.
Yeah, I don't know why. I like the idea of Waffle Squawf.
Well, that goes with your Street Fighter 6 tweet, which still humors me to this day.
Did you see the guy pretended? Oh no, I totally knew it was a joke.
Yeah. Sure you did.
Yeah.
Wait, someone tried to pretend that it was that after taking it seriously that they had known all along it was a joke?
Yes, exactly.
Pussy. Just take your loss and admit it.
Yeah, I agree.
All you have to do is you fucking got me with that one, man. Good joke.
Yeah.
Between that one and getting my the block from the G4 guy.
Yeah, that was so dumb.
Actually, double block from the G4
guy was it? Which G4 guy?
Espresso
Was it
Beans.
Who the fuck's that?
His name's Josh Miller, and he looks like a complete and total douchebag.
Oh, okay, fair enough. I still have no clue who the fuck that is.
No, me neither.
But I've been getting use out of that cat being like, excuse me, do you realize you're a douchebag?
But this time I got your spy account blocked.
Yep. Well, because I let me do the talking. Like, yeah, let me see if I can find that real quick, because that is... Oh, yeah, here it is. And for those of you who don't know, they put out... I'll bring up the... Just for the sake of clarity. Is literally every Street Fighter was after the week 1 of release. Saying the one before was the better one. Blah 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 blah. And Terry puts out, I can honestly say I had more fun with 5 than 6 so far. And this guy's like, how?
I love that response.
And he goes, because I've never played 6. And I'm just like, it's fucking simple, man. The game isn't even out. Like, the only people who have even tried anything close to it are like, tech demo guys.
Yeah, and like YouTube people who got access to the beta.
Yeah. And so this guy tweeted that Terry's thing, and I just tweeted out, now if you only read a bit further.
Yeah.
Nice.
He's like, oh, I did. I was just plugging. That's why I plugged it as a joke. Except for there's no plug there as a joke. It's just, you just quote tweeted it after the guy's like, I know a guy who's already going at Street Fighter 5 is better. It's unavoidable. And then just brings up Terry's tweet right after that.
Yeah, but the thing is that it's a joke on like 4 different fucking things all at the same time. Because it's a joke because the game hasn't come out yet. It's a joke because it's making the comment on the thing already making that fucking comment.
Yeah,
So that should tip them off that it's a fucking joke as well.
you'd think. Especially since, as Johnny said, the game isn't out. It's going to come out in like February next year.
Yep.
If it doesn't get pushed back another year.
I don't think it will. I think it'll come out in they're going to aim for February, maybe delayed until late February, but Street Fighter almost always comes out in February. Every single one has. So I think they'll stick with that.
Yeah. But with that, the zoo is closed.
See you later,
Have
guys.
a good night, everyone.
Have a good night, all.